Hello, my name is Casey Brandt. I'm a technical account manager with Emergent Game Technologies, and I'm going to be giving you a demo of the Lightspeed toolchain and workflow today. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up Toolbench. Toolbench is a tool hosting platform or architecture that's included with Lightspeed, and it is the place where all of the current shipping Lightspeed tools live as plugins to this application. It's also where some of our partners have ported their own tools to live as plugins to this app, and it's the location that we expect customers to implement their own custom tools. So Toolbench by itself doesn't do a whole lot. It provides things like file I/O. It knows about certain document types and content that you can create through wizards. It's got an undo redo stack, and it gives you some copy paste functionality as well as an output view, so that you can log info, warning, and error messages and take advantage of filtering them and other kinds of things. But for now, I'm going to open up a game solution file. The game solution file is very much like a Visual Studio solution in that it has a solution explorer here that has a list of known content and document types that you can then open inside of Toolbench. So in this solution, which is for Alpha Game, which is the name of a sample that we're currently shipping, we have a game-specific entity modeling tool project or library. We've got a number of partner integration entity libraries, the standard library, which ships with Lightspeed, and the Spark library, which is part of the Ignite project that we'll talk about shortly. So to get started, I'm going to create some new content, and we're going to add a new block file. A block file is a level file, and we'll just use the UI here to create a new one. Now, when this document gets opened, it's going to be opened inside of World Builder. World Builder is, again, a plugin to Toolbench, but it's our level editing and level layout tool. So using World Builder, you can drop in any number of entity types and lay out your level however you want to. We have a palette view here on the left that has a flat list or able to be grouped list of known entity types that are available for instancing in your scene. We also have an entity view that can be sorted using virtual folders, but can also be viewed flat, that shows a list of entity instances in the scene. So at this time we don't have any, but we can start adding some very quickly by choosing in the palette, choosing an entity template or type, and clicking and dragging and dropping that into our scene. So now we've just added this piece of demo terrain here, and we should see that appear in our entity view. So this is our active entity instance here that we've selected. I'm going to also add a couple extra entities to wall off some space here. We'll search for these blocking walls. Now I'm going to drag this out, and in World Builder I can hold the spacebar to activate a creation mode. I can also manually toggle it on here with this toolbar button. This is a handy little tool and convenience feature for placing lots of static entities like trees or rocks or whatever. I can also snap entities to a surface or terrain, so that when I move this, you can see that it then pops on top of whatever the surface is that it's on top of. I can also choose to align an entity's normals with that of the surface it's on. This is also handy for messing with foliage and such. So I'm going to leave it as free placement, but I am going to snap the rotation transform to 90 degrees so I can get a nice clean 90-degree angle on these walls here while I position them. We'll undo that. And I'm just going to block off a little bit of space. And drive around. There, that looks good enough. So I'm going to now drop in a player character that we can control here. We can turn on animations and preview animations if we want in this tool, but for performance sake I think I'll leave them disabled. Toolbench does have a set of default lights that you can turn on or off. We don't have a light currently in the scene, so I'm going to leave the defaults on for now. But I will add one after I add a camera. So I'm going to drop in an Alpha Game camera and place that behind our character. We can increase the scale of its proxy object if we want to see it a little bit better. For this particular sample that we're using, the application actually will locate this camera and orient it correctly around the subject that we choose. So technically this position that I'm setting here in the tool will be overridden, but what we do want to set for sure is this is active property, so that our camera is known to be active, and we can choose our camera subject either from a flat list of the instances in our scene, or because this camera subject property's data type is an entity reference, we can actually take advantage of this little entity picker button here and manually select the entity that we want to be the subject of our camera. So I've done that, and I'll save. And lastly, I will add a couple extra models to initialize the partner integration services that are compiled into our executable. We're using PhysX, NVIDIA's product, and we're also using Wwise, which is Audio Kinetics product, so mixing in these global entities here. And I will add the final entity, which is a directional light. So I'll move this guy up, and you'll notice that shadows update in real time in the tool, which is very helpful, and we'll save that. And with this, I'm going to launch our Alpha Game executable. Now, Alpha Game is a game pack or genre-specific sample that's part of the Ignite project that we have made available for licensees and evaluators. The Ignite project contains these genre-specific game pack samples and this Spark library, which provides extra camera controls and input controls and game state and higher level functionality that's been built on top of the core Gamebryo Lightspeed product. So